Hello everyone. This is part 4 of the presentation made on the topic data communication. We are in module 1 and we already seen means communication is basically happening in a given medium, and whatever be the medium, the information will be transferred in the form of a sine wave, in the form of electromagnetic wave, and sine wave is one of the most popular form taken by any electromagnetic wave. And this is the equation representing a sine wave, that is a sinusoid function given by s of t is equal to a times sine 2 pi f t plus phi, where a is the amplitude, f is the frequency, and phi is a phase or phase shift. We already seen the definition for amplitude, frequency and phase of a given wave. And s of t means the signal is represented as a function of time, s of t. And here we have some examples. For example, in the first diagram, that is figure A, you can see a sine wave with amplitude is equal to 1 and frequency is equal to 1. So, remember what is amplitude, the this one, right? In y axis we have the amplitude, in x axis we are taking the time also, and amplitude is equal to 1 means the peak amplitude is 1 for the signal. And what is frequency? The number of cycles repeated per unit time, that is per 1 second. So here the you can see this is 1 second and the pattern is repeating only one time, the cycle is repeating only one time. So frequency is equal to 1. And to compare that, here also we have frequency is equal to 1 because the cycle is repeating one time per unit time. Here you have frequency is equal to 2 because it is repeating the cycle 2 times in 1 second per unit time. Here again it is frequency is equal to 1. And regarding amplitude, this signal is having amplitude 1 and here it is 0.5, here again 1, here again 1. And phase, that we already seen what is phase, and here you can see that the complete cycle is coming like this, right? And no part of the signal is having a shift to the negative part of the x axis. So this signal is supposed to be having a phase is equal to 0, phase shift is equal to 0, same applicable to this one and this one. And here you can see that this is not starting from this 0. So here there is a phase shift. And how much is a shift? See, this is on complete cycle corresponds to 2 pi degree, and half corresponds to pi, and its half corresponds to pi by 2, and again its half corresponds to pi by 4. So the signal is shifted pi by 4. So it is like see this particular portion. That means if you are taking the total signal as something like this, this is half of the cycle, this is again 1/4 of the cycle, and pi by 4 means 1/8 of the cycle, and that is shifted. Okay, so you can you are having a signal with the shift that is pi by 4, and it is starting like this. So these are all some examples of the sinusoid function. And now we have another terminology called wavelength, just like amplitude, frequency and time, time period. Another terminology that characterizes a typical electromagnetic wave is wavelength. So wavelength is another characteristics of a signal that is traveling through a transmission medium, and it is defined like it is the distance a signal can travel in one period. And you know what is one period? The time taken to complete a cycle, complete that particular pattern. So how long the signal traveled per that time period is its wavelength. And you know the time. Now to calculate the distance, what extra you needed is the velocity, the speed at which the signal is traveling through the medium, and that again depends on the type of medium we are using. Okay, you know, in vacuum the signal is will be getting more speed compared to other mediums, right? So wavelength binds the period or the frequency, because you know period and frequency are inversely proportional to each other, of a simple sine wave to the propagation speed of the medium, because to get the distance we need a time is already there in, when we calculate the period we are getting the time. Now we need a speed also to calculate the distance. So while the frequency of a signal is independent of the medium, the wavelength is a property that depends on both the frequency and the type of medium you are using, because we need the speed, and that speed varies from one medium to another. So wavelength is a property of any type of signal. And how we can calculate wavelength? Wavelength can be calculated if one is given the propagation speed and period of the signal. Okay, and you know the formula, velocity equal to distance by time. So distance is velocity into time, right? So the given the speed or the velocity of the particular wave and the period of the wave, we can calculate the wavelength by simply multiplying them, right? So if they are asking a problem and the particular velocity is not given explicitly, then you can assume the standard speed of light in vacuum, that is 3 into 10 power 8 meter per second as the speed of the signal. So this is the default value you can assume for a particular problem if no other value is mentioned in the question. Okay. Okay, so if we represent the wavelength by lambda, the propagation speed by v, and frequency by f, and time period by t, then we have the formula, the wavelength lambda is equal to the velocity v times time period, or we know time period is equal to 1 by frequency. So 1 by frequency, lambda into frequency is equal to v. The propagation speed of an electromagnetic signal, and that is this speed, depends on the medium and the frequency of the signal. So depending on the medium, we have the wavelength into frequency will give you this propagation speed of the signal. For example, in vacuum, light is propagated with a speed of 3 into 10 power 8 meter per second, and that speed is lower in air, even lower in a normal cable. Okay, so depending on the type of medium, the speed will vary, and accordingly the wavelength will also vary. The wavelength is normally measured in micrometers, or in short microns. So microns or micrometer is a unit of wavelength, and instead of meters, because it's of small, how much distance the signal is traveling per time period, right? So that is a small quantity. So you will not be getting that wavelength in meters and all. It is normally measured in micrometers or microns. Now the concept of time and frequency domain, we already seen all the diagrams we saw are time domain plot, where the signal is represented as a function of the time on x-axis, and similarly we can represent the same signal use as a function of frequency when it comes to the frequency domain plot. So the time domain plot shows the changes in the signal amplitude with respect to time. It is an amplitude versus time plot, and this is what we saw already. Now we have another plot called frequency domain plot. To show the relationship between the amplitude and frequency, we can use what is called a frequency domain plot. So here in x-axis there will be frequency instead of the time. So a frequency domain plot is concerned with only the peak amplitude and the frequency. And that you have to remember, when it comes to time domain plot, we are representing all amplitudes and against the time, but here we will represent only the peak amplitude, the maximum value, as a function of the frequency. For particular frequency, what is the maximum frequency achieved, and changes in the amplitude during a particular period is not shown, and that is what you can see in a time domain plot. Now the frequency domain concept. An electromagnetic signal will be made up of many frequencies. For example, the signal given by this equation has its components as sine waves of frequency f and 3f. So when it comes to reality, we already seen that the electromagnetic wave is taking the form of a sine wave, but most of the signals are made up of more than one sine waves add together, like that. So an electromagnetic signal will be made up of many frequencies. That means there will be some kind of addition happening over sine waves with a different frequency to get a new sine wave. So that is how different signals are getting generated. We will see an example. So here we have a sine wave. We have an electromagnetic signal, that is whose components are sine waves of frequency f and 3f. Let's take that example. So here we have a sine wave with frequency f, because in one cycle it is completing on. So here it is frequency f means f is 1 itself, but in general here f equal to 1 you can substitute, but to compare it with some other value, we are assume a signal with the frequency f. Okay, so let it be frequency f. Actually it is 1 because it is repeating on cycle per unit time. Now we have another signal with the frequency that is 3 times of the original signal. So this is like if you are looking at 1 second of time, see the cycle 1, cycle 2 and cycle 3, it is repeating 3 times. So comparing this signal, if its frequency is f and this one is of frequency 3f, that is the way, but actually this is of frequency 1 and this is of frequency 3. This is 3 times frequency as that of this. So to in a generalized way they represented it like 2 pi ft, where f is 1 in this particular case, and we are taking another signal with frequency that is 3 times of the other one. And now see, this signal is of amplitude 1 and this one is of 1 voltage, right, unit is 1, is of amplitude some smaller value, say 0.33 around, right, 0.33. Now when these two signals are added together, we are getting this particular signal, and you know how the signals are getting added, the voltages will be getting added, right, and here we have a negative voltage, so some accordingly subtraction will be happening. See, that is how we are getting this. How we are getting this value? Because the maximum amplitude here is some 1 plus the 0.33, together we are getting a value like this. Not to the peak are not getting added, because here the peak is occurring at this point only, here the peak is occurring at this point. So it is not 1.33, it is some relative value. So in this example I think it is some pi by 4 quantity. So we no need to go up to that much detailed analysis, just understand that this is how we can add up the signals. So as the amplitudes are getting added at this point, this one is getting added with this particular frequency, we are getting something like this. And why this is getting down? Because here some subtraction is happening with this peak value, as it is a negative some minus 0.33, as a result of the subtraction it is coming like this. Again at this point that addition is happening, so that is why we are getting a shape like this. Okay, and here negative direction also same thing is happening. So this is a result, right? And now you have to observe it like, see, it is somewhat looking like a square wave, and that concept we will see later, not now, because if you are adding one more signal with the say frequency say 5f, again it will smoothen, and finally for a large value it will almost approximate a square wave. That concept we will see later. As of now, this is how you can add up the frequencies. Okay, hope the concept is clear. Now some of the observations. So see here, first we have a signal with the frequency f, that is sine 2 pi f. So why this by 2? I think here there is a mistake. It is sine 2 pi ft. Okay, here there is a mistake. So this is not by 2, this is sine 2 pi ft, our standard signal. This is another signal which is sine 2 pi. Instead of f we have 3ft, and the amplitude is 1 by 3 here. Here the amplitude is 1. Okay, sorry, here this is t only, not by 2. And you know, as part of addition we are getting this factor 4 by pi. I told you already, because that maximum frequencies are getting added at that point, and that is how this fraction is coming in the new signal. So the new signal is sum of these two basic signal with the frequency f and 3f. Okay, here the second frequency is an integer multiple of the first frequency, right, 3 times of the first one. So when all of the frequency components of a signal are integer multiple of one particular frequency, the latter one, that is that particular base frequency, is referred to as the fundamental frequency. Okay, now the period of the total signal is equal to the period of the fundamental frequency. That also you have to remember. For the final signal, what is a period, and that will correspond to period of the signal with the fundamental frequency. So, fundamental frequency here is f only, not 3f. So, to calculate the period, you have to take 1 by f, not 1 by 3f. Okay. And the period of s of t, that is a resultant added signal, is also same, because fundamental frequency is f, accordingly the period is 1 by f. For the final signal also the period will be 1 by f. Okay, now frequency domain function. So, what we observed here is, just like the previous example, any electromagnetic signal can be shown to consist of a collection of periodic analog signals, preferably or most of the case sine waves at different amplitudes, okay, frequency and phases of course. And we have a process, mathematical way of finding out what are all the basic sine waves within an underlying electromagnetic signal, or analyzing and finding out the frequency components of a given signal, is what is happening in a Fourier analysis, and this one you may be seeing in detail later. So, the frequency domain function or the plot S of f of a signal specifies the peak amplitude of the constituent frequency of the signal. So, so far we were seeing time domain plot, now we are going to see what about the frequency domain plot, and it will be like this. So, for the previous example, that is that particular signal, 4 by pi sine 2 pi f t plus 1 by 3, that is what we already seen. See what are all the fundamental frequencies f, another frequency component is 3f, right, and corresponding to each of the frequency component, that is 1f and 3f, what is the maximum amplitude. So, that you look at the diagram and you will understand that for corresponding to f we got some 1 plus some value, right, and after that addition, and that is this value, some 1.33. Because one of the signal we taken is of amplitude 1, another one is 0.33. So, together after adding we are getting the new one, and corresponding to 3f, that 0.33 plus some value corresponding to that. So, this is the value we are getting. So, just take the previous example, its corresponding plot is this, frequency domain plot is this one. Spectrum and bandwidth, some other terminologies. Spectrum of a signal is the range of frequency that it contains. For the signal S of t is equal to, that is our previous example. Also here also, so there is a printing mistake. Here also it is f t only, not f by t. For this particular signal, the spectrum extends from range of frequency, right, from f to 3f, because the constant frequencies are f and 3f. So, that is a spectrum. Now, absolute bandwidth of a signal is the width of the spectrum. That is the difference between the highest and lowest frequencies containing in that signal. For the above signal, the bandwidth is 3f minus f, that is 2f. Many signals have an infinite bandwidth if the spectrum is of infinite size, right. However, most of the energy of a signal is contained in a relatively narrow band of frequencies, and this band is referred to as the effective bandwidth. That is not about the example we considered. For the previous example, the bandwidth. So, if somebody is asking you what is bandwidth, you can assume absolute bandwidth only. So, effective bandwidth is a different concept. Absolute bandwidth, hope it is clear. What is a spectrum? What is width of that? And here in this example, 3f minus f 2f. Effective bandwidth means sometimes a spectrum may be of infinite size, and accordingly we will be having infinite bandwidth. And in that infinite bandwidth, even though the bandwidth is looking infinite, you can observe that the most of the energy of the signal will be in a very relatively narrow band of frequency, and that narrow band of frequency is what we call as the effective bandwidth. Okay, that's all. With this we are winding up this part, and for more details about frequency domain concept and all, refer the next part. Thank you.